For decades, college football's greatest programs have battled it out for a title bigger than any trophy, the king of college football. But who wears the crown? Is it Ohio State with its juggernaut TV ratings? How about Alabama, the true dynasty of our time? Or what about Blue Bloods, Michigan, Notre Dame, Texas? Can they claim the crown? I'm your Professor Wildute, and I've reviewed all of the Power Four and crunched the numbers based on TV viewership, valuations, and on field dominance to settle this debate once and for all. Some of these rankings might shock you. Let's dive in. So here's how we're going to determine the king of college football. Check it out. We looked at all of the P4 schools, and we found the top 5 here. We're breaking out for you today. This is how we did it. 4 criteria. Number 1, Sports Media Watch, Nielsen rated data. Shout out to Sergeant Pickles, College Football Mafia contributor, for compiling a database of well over 1,000 games to do the analysis on. So we're using an 11-year weighted average score, meaning every year in the past has less weight than more recent years. For example, 2024 is going to be the strongest weighted score, so your average viewership figure. And then 2023 is going to be slightly less weighted, 2022 slightly less weighted, and so on all the way down to 2013. That's part of the model here. Number 2, Navigate Viewership Strength Index. Check it out, folks. I don't think anyone's ever discussed this or talked about this. This is actually hard to find. Recently found it. 2023 Navigate Brand Strength Index for TV viewership. This was found from a Florida State booster conference call that they posted on YouTube, showing the strength of Florida State's brand compared to other brands in the SEC and the Big Ten and even the Big 12. So grab the score that Navigate put together for all of these top 5 brands, and we put it in the model. So great information there. Check it out. We'll put the link to the booster conference call below if you want to check that out too, where these figures came from. And by the way, Navigate's like the best in the business as far as data analysis. They really keep their information pretty private. So it's a privilege being able to actually break it down. Here, CNBC, valuation data is the third piece here. So CNBC put out an article in January 2025, based on 2024 information. And it broke out how valuable each athletic department across the P4, how much value they bring to the table. So those numbers are factored in the model. And lastly, the Blue Blood ranking per Wikipedia, probably the best indicator of total success in football for a program. Factors all-time wins, national championship, Heisman, totals, bowl game wins. There's a lot of criteria that go into that Wikipedia model, but it's called the Blue Blood rank, and it just tells you about football results. So all 4 of those criteria are getting combined in, and we're going to find out who are the top 5 college football brands in the nation. Who's the king of college football? 5th, Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish. Here we go. Why is Notre Dame number 5? Because their weighted average score, based on the Nielsen rated data, they show out 5th in the nation, 5th place. Number 2, the viewership strength index per Navigate, Notre Dame shows out in 3rd position. The valuation data per CNBC, Notre Dame spits out a 6 overall ranking. And lastly, the Blue Blood per Wikipedia model says Notre Dame's the 5th best team based on football results and history. So when you crunch all those numbers together based on an equal weighting in the model, Notre Dame comes out in 5th place, 5 spot. Notre Dame Fighting Irish, 5th biggest football brand in the nation here. It was a super close, tightly contested battle between Texas and Notre Dame for the 4th spot. But the Texas Longhorns show out, and they get that 4th spot here. And why is that? Let's look at how they stacked up. Okay, the weighted average score, based on the Nielsen rated data, is a 6, 6th in the nation. Their viewership strength score per Navigate, 6th in the nation. Okay, how are they getting this 4th spot? I see a bunch of 6s here so far. It's because of the valuation per CNBC. It's so strong for the Texas Longhorns, it bumped them ahead of Notre Dame. They show out number 2 in the CNBC valuation for the most valuable athletic departments. Then lastly, their blue blood score per Wikipedia, another 6. So 3 6s and a big fat 2. Actually, the 2 brings Texas into 4th place, slightly edging out the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So Texas, the Longhorns, 4th position, 4th biggest brand in football history. Now, number 3, this shouldn't surprise anybody. These top 3 juggernaut brands here. So the Michigan Wolverines. How did Michigan get this 3rd spot? It's because they score really well in a lot of areas. The weighted average score for the Nielsen rated data gives Michigan a 3, 3rd best school in the nation across 11-year sample size, weighted average. Again, really good results there. Viewership strength index, number 2 here per Navigate. That's how strong the Michigan brand is per Navigate. They would score out the 2nd best out of all the schools in the nation. Valuation-wise per CNBC, Michigan gets 4th spot right here. The Michigan Wolverines in 4th spot. And lastly, the Wikipedia Blue Blood rank, Michigan gets in the 6th spot. Number 3 overall, largely because of the Navigate Strength Index score, is the Michigan Wolverines, a juggernaut. Now, let's check out the top 2. Number 2 from the SEC, the Alabama Crimson Tide. We're getting to the bluest of the blue bloods now in the top 2 here. Alabama, with a weighted average score of number 2 in the nation, only behind the number 1 team who we'll be discussing here in a minute. Viewership strength index per Navigate is 4th in the nation. So they perform that much better than everybody else in the nation in an equally weighted environment. 4th spot, 4th best brand in equal conditions per Navigate for TV viewership. Valuation-wise, this one's pulling Bama down a little bit. The CNBC evaluation for the athletic department for the Alabama Crimson Tide, 5th in the nation. Still freaking elite. Let's be honest about that, but 5th in the nation. But this is where Alabama spanks everybody. In the results, and actually on-field results per the Blue Blood ranking, Alabama gets into the 1st spot. They are the best brand in the land as far as on-field football results in history. And that largely is propped Bama up to the 2 spot overall when we're talking about the juggernauts, the massive, the kings of college football, the Alabama Crimson Tide, and the number 2 spot. And now, with the drum roll, the number 1 football brand of all time, the Ohio State Buckeyes, the Ohio State University. Why are they number 1? Weighted average score for the Nielsen rated data, number 1. Just a whopping TV viewership score over the last 11 years. It's crazy to see it. Ohio State's on TV all the time. We all know that in the biggest time spots because they have a massive fan base. And people watch Ohio State football all the time. Huge. Number 2, the viewership strength index per Navigate, number 1, meaning that Ohio State, no matter who they're playing in the nation, they're going to prop that other team up to a level that nobody else can. And you're going to produce the best viewership when you're playing Ohio State compared to anybody else. So Ohio State has the best brand per Navigate in the nation. They're an amplifier for TV ratings. Valuation per CNBC, Ohio State, another number 1 here. Number 1, the most valuable athletic department. Ohio State's athletic department is huge, extremely valuable. Again, the fan base, the success, everything about Ohio State screams elite. And lastly, in the Blue Blood ranking, based on on-field results, Ohio State scores out a very, very strong number 3. And believe it or not, that's behind Alabama, who we've already talked about. And number 2 in Blue Blood ranking, believe it or not, is USC, who didn't even crack into the top 5. Ohio State gets 3rd position. But when you crunch it all together, Ohio State is the king of college football brands. Now let's take a look at actually what the model scores were and how close these results were. All right, here's the overall. The top 5 biggest brands, the kings here. So Ohio State, based on all the criteria here, spits out a 91.7% overall score. And when you're comparing that to these other elite brands, Bama spits out an 87.7 rating, which is very, very high. Then Michigan, a 74.4 overall score. So you're seeing here there's different tiers of elite brands. Ohio State and Alabama are tier 1, the biggest tier of all. Michigan is by itself tier 2 with a 74.4% overall rating. Texas and Notre Dame, extremely close. Texas with a 68.5% overall score. Notre Dame with a 68.0 overall score. Super close. That's the tier 3 of this list. Ohio State, Bama, tier 1. Michigan, tier 2. Texas and Notre Dame, tier 3. The kingdoms of college football, with Ohio State being the true king of it all. 5 programs, 1 throne, in a battle for the ages. Ohio State dominates the TV ratings. Alabama has built a modern empire. Michigan has a resurgence. Texas has endless resources. And Notre Dame has that national brand and pull. And they all stake their own claim to the crown. But now it's your turn to decide. Who truly rules college football? Is it one of these 5 or somebody else? Drop your pick in the comments. And if you're all about tier rankings, realignment talk, and college football, subscribe and like the video. I'm your Professor Wild Ute, and class is dismissed.